Hey guys, how's it going? I'm here today to do a little bit of a review on my orange Tiny Terror. So I've had this amp for about 6 months now, and so far I love it. It has taken a little bit to get it to sound just how I want, but I love it. I love the simplicity of it. I love the fact that it's a head and I can match it up to any cab that I want. Right now I have it going into a Harley Benton 1x12. It has a Celestion Vintage 30 in it, and it's working out great. It's an open back cab, and that gives it quite a bit of boominess in the room. It's not so tight sounding. I got this primarily for using with my Telecaster, and it works fantastic for that. I also like to play some heavier stuff, and so I use it also with my Ibanez Millennium Destroyer. It works pretty good with the Millennium Destroyer, but there's, like I said, there's some tweaks that I've had to do to get the amount of gain that I want out of it. So when you turn the gain on this up, it tends to get pretty muddy. It's heavy in the bass end and doesn't have a whole lot of crispness in the high end. So to get that extra crispness and the added saturation, I threw an Ibanez TS7 in front of it, cranked the volume all the way up, the tone all the way up, and the gain all the way down. In addition, I'm running it into a Zoom G1XN, and that is only adding a compressor and a noise gate. When I'm playing on the Telly, I also add delays and reverbs, but when I'm playing on the Ibanez, I just leave those off. So the orange Micro Terror is very simplistic. As you can see, it only has 3 knobs: gain, tone, and volume. And the tone, I like it basically right up in the middle. If you move it too far one way or the other, it tends to just lose character. So right in the middle is a good place to go. Sometimes I bump the tone up just maybe a notch, not even that much. As you will hear if you watch any other review of this amp, it's really loud. I usually play with it at about a little under 1. I do most of my stuff here in my house at night after the kids are asleep, so I don't go too loud. But I have turned it up to full volume on full gain, and it is too loud. So what I'm going to do here today is try and record some tones and see if I can get a good recording of it. So I have a large diaphragm condenser microphone. I'm going to place it in front of the amp. I do not have a mic stand, unfortunately, but I'm just going to hang it in front and see what I can come up with. All right, let's get going. Okay, so I'm going to start out kind of just with everything off. So this is just the Micro Terror. So cleaned up a little bit. So this is usually where I have it with the Telecaster, and it sounds pretty clean, the gain's straight up. But with my Ibanez, the hot pickups make it distort. So everything's being bypassed down here. That's all, yeah, being bypassed. So if we turn it up a bit, you'll hear, here it is still, the gain is still pretty, how I'd call clean gain. It's not getting too muddy yet. But once we get right about there, and if we push it past, it loses basically all definition. So what I've done is adding a tube screamer helps a lot. So I have the level all the way up, the tone all the way up, the drive all the way down. It just tightens everything up. So then I add in the Zoom G1XN. So basically all I'm using this for is a compressor and a noise gate. Now typically you wouldn't run a compressor right after the tube screamer, but I can't run it any other way. This is kind of all in one. So tube screamer into the compressor and noise gate. So now I'm going to try and move the microphone around, see what kind of different sounds I can get. Also, that song right there is actually from another YouTuber that I ripped off. He's really good. I'll include a link in the description to that video because that's an awesome song. And I'm not playing it just right. He plays it slightly different. But yeah, I'll link it there. So right in the middle, it's a little too harsh for me. I'm going to move it just a tad. Too far. That to me is just right there. Now, granted, I'm listening through headphones, so a lot of the amp I'm sure is coming through the headphones, but so I'll have to look at it after the video's done to see what I really like best. But for me, right there sounds great. So in the microphone, if I take away some of this stuff like the tube screamer, and if you add more gain, it's just way too muddy. So I dialed the gain back a bit, throw in the tubes, tightens everything up. Again, this is not to show my excellent guitar playing ability, but more or less to show what the amp sounds like and what kind of sounds I'm getting. So I'm going to play with the tone knob a little bit on the Tube Screamer because initially when I'm playing with the Telecaster, I have the tone knob straight up and the level down just a little bit. And that just doesn't give me quite enough brightness. So if I dial the tone all the way up again, and then the level all the way up, so it's still with all these set. Lock them down. With all these set, I can still have really good note definition. I found that's one of the things some of my previous amps were really missing. But yeah. Well, there you have it. That is my official review of screwing around with the Orange Microterror. I hope you enjoyed it. After listening to the recording from the microphone, yeah, the placement was about where I liked it. Maybe a little bit too far to the center. After listening to it by itself, I would move it just a touch away from the center. So, overall, great success in my opinion. All right, well, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like it, subscribe. Talk to you guys later.